ashes at the World Trade Center. I was there at Fresh Kills.
I'm not asking you that.
I'm asking you, Congressman.
Were you the special agent in charge?
To show respect
You were not.
for a Secret Service member that died on 9/11.
Oh, that you're trying to be.
Do not invoke 9/11 for political purposes.
Oh, that I'm not. I'm invoking this.
You are, sir.
Gentlemen,
And you are out of line.
The committee will come to order.
I'm asking you serious questions for the American people, and they're very simple. They're not trick questions. Were you the special agent in charge that day?
No, I wasn't. I was there representing
Mr.
the
Chairman,
United States Secret Service, sir.
Mr. Fallon, your time's
expired. Did not affect protective operations.
You know why you were there? Because you wanted to be visible, because you are auditioning for this job.
I was there to pay respect for a fallen member of this agency.
You endangered President
out of line,
Biden's life,
Congressman.
Vice President Harris's life, because you put those agents out of position.
Mr.
Did you have a radio with you?
Mr. Fallon, your time has expired.
I did not affect protective operations.
You know why you were there? Because you wanted to be visible, because you were auditioning for this job.
I was there to pay respect for a fallen member of this agency.
Well, that went pretty well, I thought, and it was rather enjoyable, and it was kind of fun. So Congressman Fallon was taking none of this, and the acting director of the U.S. Secret Service, Rowe, he really got riled up and was taking it very personal. I don't know what he was talking about what he was doing on 9/11, but it's not what the discussion was.
No, just bizarre. So Congressman Fallon was asking about this photo op at a recent 9/11 memorial service where it was reported by witnesses within the Secret Service that Ronald Rowe actually moved his spot from 3 rows behind the president and the vice president to be able to stand right next to them in the photo, which displaced the people who were in charge with protecting those assets. And he completely deflects, goes on this insane rant about his service on 9/11, which is completely irrelevant to the question at hand, and shows his complete lack of humility, as the Secret Service has been shown to have repeated failures when it comes to protecting their chargees. The American people are sick of this nonsense. They want people in charge of this agency who are going to do their jobs, and they want accountability. And Ronald Rowe has shown a complete lack of ability to take accountability as the second in charge when the assassination attempt on Trump's life happened in Butler, Pennsylvania.
Right, pretty amazing stuff. I've got to say, Real Clear Politics is reporting that rank and file agents in the U.S. Secret Service were incensed over Ronald Rowe's screaming match, and said that they doubted that the acting director's testimony that he had a two-way radio during that 9/11 ceremony, which would suggest that he's on duty doing protective stuff this year, because he wasn't wearing an earpiece. That's a clue right there to hear the intelligence chatter going back and forth on the radio. And so this was, I know you enjoyed it. It was kind of a fun moment on Capitol Hill.
These hearings sometimes get a little boring and dry, so I appreciate when there's a little bit of a yelling match sometimes. But the other thing, too, was that the wife there, the person who was taking the photos for the event, was his wife. That's what it was reported on. It was so it made a little sense that he pushed himself forward. But he showed his hand, like you brought up, Amber, he showed his hand immediately when he diverted and started talking about 9/11. That's not the question at hand. The vibe it's giving is Kamala Harris being asked, how are you going to secure, or how are you going to fix the economy? She starts talking about how she, was on a bicycle with a banana seat. Like, it was not an actual answer. And she grew up in a middle-class family. We all know the answer. If you're diverting and not answering straight, we know that you're trying to cover for something.
On a bicycle with a banana seat.
Yeah.
Think about this, though. Ronald Rowe was the guy who took over from Kimberly Cheadle, who was too incompetent to run the Secret Service, who was, of course, allowed to resign rather than be fired by Biden, because I don't think Biden has actually fired a single person for incompetence, not because there hasn't been any incompetence in this administration. I think also importantly, this task force report was passed unanimously. This was a bipartisan select committee. We've covered how they've been to Butler, Pennsylvania, unlike Kimberly Cheadle, who never went before she quit the Secret Service. And that will be out for the public to see next week, which I think there's so much that we don't know about this. And listen, I think Pat Fallon has a right to get angry about this, because Trump was almost killed, which would have changed world history. And we're lucky that this deranged gunman narrowly missed him, sadly, obviously murdering someone in the audience.
Right, and wounding 2 more as well.